In this Ultimate Reloader special feature, I've joined forces with Bat Machine and Alpha Munitions to take the humble 308 Winchester and to push it to 30-06 and then well beyond that. We will take velocities and pressures to way beyond what the 308 Winchester was designed for and shoot it at close to a mile. I'm gonna try and call Tom. I don't think he's gonna pick up.
I think he saw it was you.
Your call has been forwarded.
All right. Oh, I'm in Europe until Saturday. No problem, comma, Bruce, Tom, and I are here shooting the high pressure 308 project today, exclamation point. We will keep you posted, period. Here's what I got. So I flipped to, this is 208.
Data.
Of course, there's no Varget data because it is too
inappropriate
fast.
for the caliber.
It's totally inappropriate, yeah.
Bullet weight.
But we're up here in the 60 to 70 grain range for powder charge there. I don't know what the equivalent would be energy density wise. And here's 208, 308 Winchester for reference, and it's at 40 max for 208. So I figured we would start at 39.
That seems safe.
So I'm going to update. We're at 215s here. Bullet length. Let's see what we got here. 1.589. Quite a bit longer. It says we're at 65,901, and I think this is typically rated at, is it 65?
I still think it's a good place to start.
Okay.
We don't want to waste a bunch of time shooting low pressure stuff when our goal is high pressure.
Okay. PMAX 62,000. Okay. So I think
Yeah.
we're a few thousand over to start with.
Perfect.
And I'm prepared today when we need to single round feed.
So we
Was
need
what Tom was saying.
we need to get it up to around 2,800
Okay.
to match 300 Win Mag.
So we need 400 feet per second more? Yeah. 400
Yeah.
more.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we can do it?
I don't know.
Okay. Without blowing ourselves up? Load number 1. So we're going to do 39 grains. Let's see. Burger 215. Well, let's go see what we can do.
Okay.
So let's take a few out, right? Get going. And we need to know what we're seeding to, obviously.
So can I take one of those cases and
yes.
just seat a dummy in it?
Yep. Because I don't want to push my shoulder back
You don't
30.
want to bump your shoulder back like I've had experience with people doing.
And we'll just back this way off. How about that? You like
Yep.
that? How do you like the action on that rifle? Is it acceptable?
Kind of sucks.
You ready to
there
start
for seating
seating?
depth. So where do you want the dummy? In here?
Yeah, and I'm going to mark it. There's your
Already
charged
go.
cases.
And you primed them already?
Primed and charged.
Okay.
So this is mag length, correct?
That's mag length.
Okay. Where do all my Sharpies walk off to?
Okay.
All right.
Let's go boom.
Okay, this is 39 grains of Varget, load number 1. How's it looking?
No pressure signs. What was our velocity? I see 2312.
Whoa, ST dev of 6.5, so it's 2313.9. Let's go.
Let's keep going up. Let's go another full grain.
All right, well, the pressure testing is done.
Yeah.
It was surprisingly routine feeling, but pretty exceptional results.
Yeah.
So we started basically about 1 grain-ish below what we thought a max load would be.
Yeah.
And then we shot 3 rounds, loaded and shot 3 rounds, and then looked for pressure signs, incremented the charge weight 1 grain at a time, loaded 3 more rounds, shot 3 more rounds, looked for pressure signs, looked at our chronograph, right? We're looking for erratic results. We're looking for overpressure, over-cratering of the primer, pierced primers, all that kind of stuff.
Starting to show a little bit of pressure though.
They are?
Yeah. They're a little flatter than last time.
Primers?
Yeah, not bad, but they're a little flatter.
Oh, yeah. But no case head swipe or anything.
No.
And everything was perfectly smooth.
Yep. And I could tell from the way you were operating the bolt, there was no stickiness.
Yeah. So let's get into the data. And this is kind of the format that we'll present this in. So tests, our test number started at 39 and went on from there. Average velocity, SD, and ES from the chronograph that we used. Then we get into the quick load projected data, right? The estimated quick velocity and pressure. And what we did is we noticed that there was a difference between what we observed in velocity and what quick load predicted, and ours was slightly under every time.
Yep.
So we took the error and we applied that to our pressure and correspondingly reduced the pressure like we saw corresponding reductions in velocity. So we're estimating, based on real life on velocity, what our real life pressure would be, because we don't have pressure transducers here, right? So we start out at 56,137 PSI, and SAMI, actually, they didn't list it on the SAMI print, did they? We found the pressure, which was 62,000 PSI.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 62,000 PSI is supposedly max. And again, we have extremely tough brass here, very strong brass. We have a very strong action. We have a very thick barrel. You know, this is a beyond SAMI type of situation. Not that you should try that yourself. Again, do not try this. So we're a little under. Test number 2 is 40 grains. We saw 2,374 feet per second. I thought this was interesting. These SDs and ESs were way lower than what I thought they would be.
Yeah, they were really good. I mean,
2.6 feet per second SD and 6.1 ES.
Yeah. I mean, obviously our sample lot size was very low because we were just wanting to see pressure, but still, even in a small sample, you can see a lot worse than that.
And you can see here, I mean, in the Hornady book, we would be over max load here. And our corrected pressure that we're estimating would still be within 1,000 PSI of max for SAMI. So we went on to test number 3, 41 grains. We saw 2,430 feet per second average. And again, SD of 2.7, ES of 5.8.
Yeah.
This is pretty insane. And quick load said we'd be at 2449, right? We're at 2430. So it's pretty close. Velocity error of only 0.78%, right? Not even a percentage.
The predicted velocity versus what we achieved. Yeah.
So we're estimating here that we're at 65,565 PSI. Remember, SAMI max is 62,000. So you can see 1 grain of powder takes you from under to 3,500 PSI over in 1 grain.
Yep.
And we all know environmentals can affect things. If your ammo's in the sun, atmospheric temperature, temperature of the barrel, right? All this stuff. So we're already 5% over SAMI. Should we keep going?
Yep.
Okay. Test number 4, 42 grains, 2,479.3. Remember, this is a 215 grain bullet. This is not your standard 155 or 168, right? We're at 2,479, quick load projected 2,500, pretty close again. 0.83% velocity error, corrected pressure of somewhere around 70,745. So we're 14%
above
over
or beyond SAMI.
Yeah, at this point. And no signs yet.
No signs.
No signs.
Bolt open like nothing.
No problem at all.
Nothing sticky about that. No
Routine.
no signs on the primer, no signs on the case.
Yep. Test number 5, 43 grains. This is where things started to heat up just a little bit, but not with our extreme spread in SD.
No, and not with any signs on the case either.
Right, 2,526 feet per second, 1.5 foot per second SD, 3.6 ES. This is the kind of stuff that you want to see as a PRS competitor, right? When you're shooting or an ELR competitor, you would love to have an SD or an ES like this. Now, of course, it would be interesting to do 5 or 10 shots to see if that was a stable number.
Yeah, and true accuracy tests as well to see what you actually achieve accuracy-wise.
So corrected pressure here, we estimated at 76,000. So that's 23% over.
14,000.
Yeah, yes, right, 14,297. Yeah. 14,297 over. 23, we're almost a quarter over the SAMI pressure. Mm-hmm. And I think this is where we started to see a little bit on the primer.
Yes.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, not so much that it was flat, but it started looking like it had a little bit of ring, like the primer starting to extrude a little bit into the firing pinhole.
Yeah. A slight bit of cratering, as it were. Test number 6, 44 grains, 2,571.3 feet per second. Still an SD of 3.5 and an ES of 8.3, which is pretty spectacular. A corrected pressure of 82,306. Do not go here. Do not go to this place. At this point, I believe we're seeing a bit of the extractor embossing and swipe.
No. I don't really think we saw anything until we hit 45.
Okay. So we're right kind of at the edge here. But in your experience, when you get to 80,000...
We're seeing more primer extrusion here.
Okay, more primer extrusion.
Well, with normal brass at 80,000, you're usually losing primer pockets.
Mm-hmm. So literally, the entire case is going to expand except for the part outside of the chamber to the chamber.
Yeah.
And anything outside the chamber now only has that thick web for protection.
To hold it together.
Mm-hmm. So with 80,000 PSI, even the primer pocket, which is heavily reinforced, flexes enough to have permanent deformation.
Permanently deforms.
Yeah. And we saw none of that.
None of it.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. 32.75% over SAMI in terms of pressure, right? Estimated. Should we keep going?
Of course.
Can you believe that we would keep going here? 45 grains, 2,614.9 feet per second average, 1.3 SD. Seriously, 1.3 SD and an extreme spread of 3. This is absolutely unbelievable. It makes me think that this Varget powder and the Burger, the 215, is just meant for each other with this alpha brass.
Well, I don't know about meant for each other. There was a lot of crunching going on in the seat.
Well, yeah. Capacity-wise, I mean, theoretically, right? I mean, just this kind of consistency is amazing.
Yeah.
And 1.4% air on the velocity, so that took our estimated pressure down to 88,770 PSI. A moderate 88,770.
But this is where the primer around the firing pin extrusion was getting to where I said, we got to quit there, we're going to blow a primer.
Oh, these are getting seriously, I don't know how that one looks, but.
A little craterage there.
Yeah, they're sticking out from the base of the case a good 10, 15 thousandths.
I think the problem is whoever made that, the primer pinhole, really messed that up.
It's definitely the action
Whoever did that, I know, those guys.
I always, it's always best to blame the action manufacturer when you far exceeded the recommended pressures.
So we swapped primers.
Yeah, to CCIs.
To CCIs.
We would start with Federal 205s, which was a little bit softer. Went to CCIs, repeated the 45 grain test.
Yep, and our velocities were within what? 2 or 3
feet per second. Yeah, it didn't make much difference.
Almost identical.
Yeah, and similar SDs and ESs.
No primer extrusion at all.
Exactly. How does that look compared to the previous cratering?
Much different. So, yeah, it's really interesting.
Is it less, would you say?
The primer's flatter, but it's definitely, there's like almost no ring.
So, test number 8, we just continue with CCI at this point because we felt a little bit more confident with the primer strength. Average velocity for 46 grains of Varget, 2656.4, SD of 2.2, again, can't believe it, ES of 5.4, corrected pressure 95,785 PSI. This would absolutely destroy a lot of different types of brass, weaker brass.
Oh, for sure. Before this, it would have been destroyed.
And when it destroys, if your brass ruptures, your action is gone.
Yeah, and you're have a possibility of going to the hospital.
Yes. Right, but the case is extracted.
Well, yeah, there was no
Routinely.
Yeah,
We had you could feel the slightest of that ejector
drag
swipe, right? And you can see that on the case head. We'll show you that.
But literally, there was no there was no click,
No.
or anything when you open
No
action.
click.
Just,
No stiff bolt lift. We've all probably felt that before. It's not a good feeling at all. None of that. And so we know at this point we're getting close,
yeah,
right? Because that ejector swipe was...
we started seeing ejector swipe at 46 that was
Yep. And
significant.
the primer looked hurting a little bit.
It was hurting
Yeah.
a little bit.
So we decided to go on 47 grains over 2,700 feet per second, right? So we figured 2,500 feet per second was a good number for 30-06, and we exceeded that at 43 grains. And that's a max load of 30-06. That's not middle 30-06.
No.
Now we're into kind of the middle of...
At 2,700, you're actually near the top end of loads for 300 Win Mag. Middle of the road loads with that weight of bullet for 300 Win Mag are around 2650.
So we're 50 plus feet per second above that.
Yeah.
This is insane. We're in solid Magnum territory here now. SD of 5.1, ES of 12.1.
Not sustainable territory, but
No. And the accuracy definitely fell off for these last two.
yeah, 46 and 47 were kind of all over the place.
Yep. Corrected estimated pressure of 103,785 PSI. Do not try this at home. And that's 67.4% over SAMI.
Yep.
That is ridiculous.
Yep. And it's, the brass is incredible.
Yeah. This OCD technology is not marketing gimmick. This is like the real deal.
Mm-hmm. And one of the other things they've done is, besides the metallurgy of the brass, it's a small rifle primer, so it gives you more brass around the primer pocket. I think it's one of the reasons we held on to the primer pocket so long.
And less force pushing on the primer because you've got smaller surface area as well.
On the firing pin.
Yeah, in terms of trying to push it out or
whatever. The other thing we did as we finished up this test is we mic'd the solid portion of the web, and we didn't really see dangerous levels of case head expansion until we reached 45 and above. Below that, it was reasonable. I mean, this is one brand new virgin brass, so you're going to get a little bit. And I think we were at like 0.6 expansion at 44. So,
but
pretty reasonable.
still extracted just fine.
Oh yeah,
the case is never stuck at all. So, are the test number 8 and test number 9 at 46 and 47 grains reusable? Could you reuse the brass?
Look like it to me. I mean,
That's
they probably
insane.
You might not get too many more loads out of them because
Right.
they might start getting tight. But
Yeah. But we had the right chamber geometry. We had the right brass geometry. We used the reamer from Alpha. Everything was all lining up properly. Plus the incredible strength of this brass. Yeah. And then, so where did the case head expansion top out?
It was 1 thou and 3/10 at the 47 grain load.
So for 100,000 PSI, that's pretty amazing. That's all that happened, and it did not stick in the chamber, right?
Yeah.
Take a look at the footage again. Rewind this video. Take a look at it. Not a lot of trouble there. Oh yeah, the ejector swipe is a little stronger. 2713. was not sticking at all.
Not at all.
You wouldn't know as the shooter that anything was out of the ordinary, and this is definitely not the ordinary. So based on all that, based on our experiences, where would you draw the line here? I'm not saying that you should do this. Again, don't do any of this, but for you, Bruce.
I would quit at the 44 grain load.
Yeah?
That looked like to me it was a sustainable load that would give you brass life. Which is kind of crazy.
So why don't we load a bunch of those up and go up and do some long range shooting then?
Sure.
Okay, let's do it. I'm going to take the iPad.
I'm rolling back here.
Okay, go for it. Nice.
That looks like a dead center hit at just below the neck shoulder junction.
Yep.
What do you want to do now?
Take the left one.
The left one?
Yep. He's sideways. It's a little hard to see.
Oh, okay, I see it now.
Oh man, that was a center punch.
Same spot.
Good. Let's move out to 660.
What's your dope, Gavin?
For 660,
Yeah.
up 5,
Yep.
and a 90-degree 5-mile-per-hour wind is 1 mil.
Yep.
It's kind of dying down a little bit, so whatever you think.
Okay.
660. Impact.
Yeah. Want to do another one on it?
Yep. Right. You need more wind on it.
That one went right.
Yeah. And just a touch high, perhaps. Did not see it.
Me neither.
Why don't you hold your first hold again? Impact. Very nice.
Yeah, actually it's hitting. We're not getting much on the wind.
Okay. What's your hold on it?
I was holding, so from center, probably a 1/4 mil.
Is it approximately left edge then?
Yeah, a
Okay.
1/2 mil is full left edge,
Okay.
and those two shots were misses.
Okay.
And
So-
that even a 1/4 mil was
Here, I'm going to
on
give
the
her a
left
try.
side.
You want to trade?
What's that?
You want to trade?
Sure.
So maybe hold dead center if I'm not feeling wind.
Yeah, try a dead center hold.
Oh,
It looked like it was a little low.
Okay.
Okay, that's better. All right, I'm going to hold center here. You guys ready? Yep. Yeah, impact. Impact. See if I can get 3. Nice.
Okay. Well, we're kind of into the Hail Mary context now. I believe it's 1390. So let's see what we can come up with. It says up 16.0.
And where is this thing at?
So you've got over there this dip in the saddle.
Are we talking you got this ridge, the next ridge, and then the
The
far
third,
ridge?
the far ridge, yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
way
so
over there.
at the dip of the saddle, you go up to the left just a little bit, and there's a silver tree pointing towards the top.
Yeah,
He's in the little clearing right at the ridge line there,
Got it.
offset to the right. See him?
yep.
Okay. You guys with me? Okay. I'm level. I'm gonna take a shot. Shooting. Okay. Hit.
You lucky bugger.
First round impact at 1390. You see those green LEDs?
Oh, I sure did.
Yeah. Hit.
You lucky bugger.
Well, that was pretty amazing.
It was.
You hit the first 2 targets, which meant our 0 was pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice.
That looks like a dead center hit.
1 round each.
Yep.
No trouble there, right?
First shot.
Yep.
First shot each. Yep.
And then at 660, we had similar success.
I hit it the first shot,
Yep.
and then I thought I should hold a little for the wind. That was not the proper thing to do.
Right, because I think I sent 3 and all 3 hit,
Yep.
and they were just holding dead center.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, impact.
The 706, I just decided we should just skip because,
We couldn't see the target.
yeah, let's just go all the way out, right?
1390.
1390. And I took the shot. I had dialed up the 16 mils.
Yep.
Shooting. Took the shot and instantly, well, not instantly, about 1.62 seconds later, saw the green lights flashing.
Yeah, he got lucky.
Oh boy.
No, but it surprised me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty impressive out of a 308.
Yeah. It's the furthest I've actually shot a 308.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. Normally when I go out to that distance, I'm using something a little bit more high performance to recoil ratio is a little higher, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so as far as the whole journey to that point, the brass, like, we never had a stiff bolt lift all the way to where we decided to quit.
Yeah. Yep.
We were starting to see pressure signs on the brass, but never a stiff bolt lift,
Right.
which was way beyond normal.
I didn't feel it necessarily, maybe just a scratch, and that was where the ejector hole is. The brass embosses slightly into that. And then when you lift the bolt, it wipes the outer edge that's proud, right? And you get that nice shiny little arc, and then you can see the entire impression. When we were up there at the 47 grain load, again, people, don't do this. This is not safe. We had specific guidance from Alpha Munitions, and Bruce has been doing this for a long time and has taken things beyond this to the point of basically if the brass yields and bursts,
When the brass gives way, it's over.
the action is done.
The action is done.
Right.
Especially when you're loading to these pressure levels.
Right. So we probably could have gone further with the brass and pierced primers, and the brass would have probably held together, maybe
From
with
the looks of it, it would have.
maybe with some stiff bolt lift once the shoulder is blown forward and it's compressing, the bolt in there.
But again, you wouldn't do that without a steel box around it.
Right.
So
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I'm really, really impressed with the quality of the Alpha Munitions brass. And
yeah,
you took a
myself as well.
You took a look at the 300 Win Mag data, right? Like we were somewhere in the middle of the range.
We finished, actually, I think our load like 2 levels down from the top. We were in the middle of 300 Win Mag load.
That's amazing.
So,
and it was safe. It wasn't.
yeah, there was no pressure signs at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, really nothing anybody would get excited about as a normal hand loader.
Yeah. So while you shouldn't do this, what it does demonstrate is that the brass is kind of a core part of the whole equation in terms of pushing.
Definitely, if you're going to try and push the limits.
Yeah, extreme performance. You can't do that with any.
And I mean, not to plug the actions either, but and Gavin's gunsmithing as well. The action was designed from the beginning with features that enable it to take those kind of pressures. And then Gavin's gunsmithing is minimized clearances everywhere, so there's not gaps for
Yeah.
for things to flow into, and that's all important.
I was very meticulous about the rigid reamer holder, which that trick that I learned from you, machining it in place on the lathe. And Alpha's reamer, which is solid carbide, fit in very tightly. You have to push it in and then, you know, set screw. And then I pin gauged the entrance of the chamber, and it was a little bit under where I thought it would be. So, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to minimize that. Yeah. So the reamer has to be perfectly aligned.
Matches the brass. Brass can't move as much.
Yep. Exactly.
And which is another interesting point when talking about the strength of the brass is normally a chamber that's really snug on the back end, you will have issues with tight cases.
Right.
And extraction issues.
Yeah.
But the brass is so tough, it's not expanding.
Right.
It's springing back to
and
size.
This was the discussion I had with Alpha, is they said, if the brass is right, if the rifle's chamber is right, and if the chamber and the sizing die is right, then you won't have the clickers and you won't have the stiff cases.
And we had none.
It's exactly what we saw. Minimum chamber dimensions, very minimal expansion of the web area, which we mic'd, covered previously in the video. One other thought I had that's, I think, kind of an important consideration is you might not intentionally have these kind of results. You might load your ammo when it's 50 degrees out.
Yeah.
And you might have your ammo sitting in the sun or go to a match, which I've done this. I went to a match here that was 95 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and I was running 22 nozzler, so it was already a hyper performance cartridge. And I had cycling problems in the AR. I had all sorts of trouble because, you know, it wasn't 85 degrees when I shot the ammo, it was 95.
Yeah.
And the rifle was out in the sun. So what I like about having a strong action and having super quality brass like Alpha is that it gives you that extra headroom for environmentals and other
your pressure's
things.
still going to go up, but the brass handles it without getting sticky.
Yep.
Yep.
This has been fun, and I think what would be cool would be to do this again with maybe a different cartridge.
Well, I mean, as boring as it is, they sent me some 6.5 Creedmoor ammo to play with.
I was just thinking of that in my head, pushing it to 6.5 PRC and beyond, right? Kind of similar to pushing a 308 to a 30-06 and beyond.
Yep.
You know, and again, it's not something that you're going to want to do necessarily, but it does provide some useful insights into the materials and the equation.
Well, and as far as Alpha goes too, moving forward, as they can develop a rifle package or whatever that they feel is sufficient to run factory loaded ammo that's loaded above standard SAMI spec, you now have a rifle that steps into the next level of performance without having to go to a bigger cartridge.
Yep. That's very much
reduces felt recoil on your shoulder, etc. In a way, I mean, as long as you're staying with a small base cartridge rather than a Magnum.
Yeah. Definitely.
So.
Well, what we would like to know is, what do you think about this experiment pushing the humble 308 to essentially 300 Win Mag performance? Have you seen similar things? Not that I'm saying that you should do that. I'm saying that you should not do that. But in your experience, have you had exceptional results with Alpha Munitions OCD brass? I've talked to several people, including Greg Dykstra from Primal Rights, that have seen exactly that. We're hoping to do more things like this and other high performance experiments. If you have specific ideas for us, please drop a comment. If you're looking for great brass, check out Alpha and bat actions. Not only they're precise and built to bench rest standards, but obviously they can take the heat. Thanks again, Bruce, for joining us.
Thank you. It's been a fun day.
That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. If you're interested in custom rifles like what we build here on the channel or gunsmithing services, you're going to want to go to rifles.ultimatereloader.com and get on the wait list. If you want to learn lucrative gunsmithing like what I show here on the channel, including building custom rifles and Cerakote plus a whole bunch more, you're going to want to check out the Colorado School of Trades, schooloftrades.edu. Thanks again for watching.